Thank you. I'm going to call to order the, seeing a quorum of the Select Board President, I'm going to call to order the Select Board meeting on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, 9 a.m. This is virtual. This is a virtual meeting via Google Meets in accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, which extends the Governor's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until March 31st, 2025. This meeting is being conducted virtually via Google Meets. The first order of business is just to call the meeting to order. We've confirmed that Deborah Roberts is present, Joe McCrisky, Lou Gito, and myself, with Scott Carrera unable to attend this morning. So if you are able, please join me by rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to throw a flag up 1 second. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
to the republic
which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. So the first order of business today is to set a special election date for June 11th, 2024 regarding Proposition 2.5 ballot question for school building projects. I'm going to start by giving the floor to Reggie. I think she has some updates on the ballots with regard to this item.
Thank you for that. Good morning. So we have been having an action plan meeting every Tuesday and Thursday in anticipation that this election was going to take place. We do have a meeting this morning where we will be confirming with LHS when our ballots are arriving. We had expected the ballots to be here, the early ballots to be here this week. So we're going to get a confirmation date as to when they'll be here. We anticipate they'll be here before Thursday. That was the planned day to get out the early voting ballots. But that is a call that we'll have to make to LHS to confirm. So once those are here, we are definitely going to be creating the election in the system today, and that will allow us to update all the mail-in ballots in the system and start scanning them. So what happens is anybody that opted for early voting or mail-ins, they had to fill out a white card with the state. Unfortunately, Stoughton did not have this planned election, so this was not an election that was previously set, so we have to manually do that. So we will be doing that this week so that we can get everything out on Thursday as expected. And we're also going to confirm with LHS now that the election is happening, that they can start printing the remainder of the ballots so we can get that all set up for the June 11th election.
Thank you very much. I know the general public might not be aware, and also even members of the select board might not be aware of the amount of work and coordination that's gone into preparing already for this election. The town meeting voted yesterday to approve this election and allow this to move forward as a ballot measure. But since we have the town manager on, would you mind just providing people a little bit of an insight into the type of work that you've been doing, the volume of it, the people involved, and also the coordination with the Secretary of State's office?
Yes, sir. Steve and members, for about 3.5, 4 weeks now, ever since the informal date was set, Sam and Reggie have been co-chairing a meeting every Tuesday and Thursday morning. We'll meet again after this meeting at 9:30. to go through every single major and minor step that needed to happen in rapid succession in order for the June 11th election to happen accordingly. Now, because there were some unknowns, the Secretary of State's office worked very closely with us. So on issues as to whether we could print the ballots early, issues as to whether the date had to be on the ballot, because as you know, until last night, It could have been the 11th, and it could have been the 24th of June. We asked her if the exact date needed to be on it. They were so very receptive at every juncture. They gave us confirmation that what the team is doing was done properly and was done in accordance with state law. On our work group was Reggie, Samantha, and Trisha. So the three of them, I was a spectator at this meeting. They were just extraordinary in the work they did. We are uber prepared this June 11th election day with both early voting, which will go out before the end of this week, and same day voting. Next step on our agenda, on their agenda, is to start assembling the election day workers and for Sam and Reggie to make sure everything is lined up perfectly for that day. So unless I'm missing something, Reggie, I believe that covered it. Is there anything I'm missing?
No, that pretty much covered it. And I think I've shared this action plan with the board. It's pretty day by day. We think we have everything covered, but if there's any input the board would like to give to us, we're glad to add it into the action plan. Some days we find that we're missing a little action plan, but by the time the election gets here, everything will be perfect and in line for the next election, and it will be a template for any election going forward. I did want to add that we were trying to get a ballot box like most towns have outside of town hall. I know that there was a lot of people concerned that they had received their ballots late last time and there was no place to drop them other than at town hall. And if they were working in the city, that was hard for them to get here during the week. So we have talked to the Secretary of State's office and they have approved a temporary ballot box until we get our official ballot box, which will be signed. We have signage going up on it that says temporary ballot box. So residents will be able to drop their ballots there if they happen to be mail-ins. So that was probably one of the things that didn't happen at the last election that we thought was important. So, but anything the board wishes to add, we're glad to add it to the action plan. But it looks like it's going according to plan. Like Tom said, we will be calling the poll workers. We're going to be updating make sure that the queue for the ballots, that the queue is cleaned out and that everybody will be getting a ballot as requested. We're going to be notifying bond counsel. I'm going to call Paula this morning. We're going to make sure we get the votes. I had already received the FinCom votes, but we want to just get everything in order so that if this does pass, it goes direct. The next day it'll be going into bond counsel and they can do what they need to do with it. We also have talked about notifying the residents of this election day because it's not a typical election day. So we talked about the reverse 911, getting it on our website, talk to SMAC, the Council on Aging newsletter. We do have a water bill that's ready to go out on May 9th this week. So we are going to plan to put something in that envelope that lets the residents know there's an upcoming election. So that's going to be tight, but we are going to work with Paula on that and get it done. And I think that kind of leads us up to pretty much election day. But we do have, again, everything itemized from ballots stamped and in the mail to promote availability to the polls for rides, working with the COA transportation. So everything's pretty outlined. You can look at it. If there's anything you'd like to add, you're welcome to do that and we'll update the action plan. Thank you.
The last thing I want to mention, and I say this, but I also, if somebody else on the call, Tom or Reggie, can just validate it. My understanding is that every item on that to-do list has been personally verified by the General Counsel for the Secretary of State's office as both legal, proper, and just the best practice for holding this election.
That's
yes,
100% correct.
We do have emails. Yeah, we do have emails on that. Anything that was questionable, we did get in writing from the Secretary of State that we were in accordance with the election laws and that we could go forward with that. So we do have backup for that.
Reggie, where is the temporary ballot box? Is it going to be in the front of the town hall?
we're going to use the tax collector's box, and I had engineering create some weather resistant signage that's going to go on 3 sides of the box that will say ballots can be dropped off here. So we're going to alert the residents. So it's going to be a dual box until we get our actual ballot box. We weren't able to do that for the June election, but we're hoping to get that in time for the September election. It's not something that's turned around quickly, but they're working on it for us because I think we're one of the few towns that doesn't actually have one of those.
Yeah.
And
So
it's very convenient for the residents.
So it's going to be in front of the town hall.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. We've temporarily lost a member, so I'm going to hold on a second. Ms. Roberts, did you have something that you wanted to ask or say?
Yes, I did want to ask you and Tom and Reggie or whoever can answer. I have 3 questions. One is, are the residents going to their per usual precinct election location? Or are they all going to go to town hall? Has anything changed with the process in that regard? Where do they go?
Reggie?
So nothing's changed. We're still going to have them go to the usual voting spots. It would be just for the early voting, which would be a week out prior to the election. Those would be the people that come to town hall if they wanted to early vote.
Okay, thank you.
But
That's the first question. The second question, has anyone done a time study using our local post office? How long does it take mail to get to our residents? Because I was told sometimes we drop it off at on Porter Street, and then it bounces to Brockton, then it comes back to Stoughton, and it may be a delay of maybe a week or could be longer. But has anyone done that time study? I just want to be sure that I can say somebody asked.
So
Will it only-
I can confirm, Deborah, while there hasn't been an official study, we've stayed in very close contact with the post office. By way of example, they don't send things, they don't process mail that comes in after 4 o'clock. In the case of elections, and I spoke with them directly over there, they process ballots immediately when they come in, mail-in ballots. So we do know that they prioritize it. Of the complaints that we have fielded in the past several weeks, none of them were the cause of post office delays. The average delivery time is 2 days from dropping it off to ending up at the resident's home. So we don't believe that's an issue. We're very comfortable that the post office makes these mail-in ballots a top priority on both ends, whether it's us mailing them out or residents mailing them back in. Feel good about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, to just
Go ahead. I was going to add something, but go ahead.
very quickly, the Secretary of State's office has a website that where you can track your ballot if you want to know where it is in either sending or delivery back to the clerk's office. It's sec.state.ma.us/ where do I vote MA. But I think I'm looking at the wrong one. There's Track My Ballot is the name of it. Sorry. Track My Ballot. That seems to be going to that. Where do I vote MA? But I believe you're able to track those things. I've seen a couple of people who were concerned about receiving the ballots late and how long it took for it to get to them, using the service to learn that the turnaround time was in fact about 2 days. I don't know if there's statistics about the averages yet, but anecdotally, the ones I've heard all are about 2 days.
Excellent.
Steve, if I may interrupt, Reggie, before you make your comment, would you take that information from Steve and let's post that all over our website as to how they can track their ballots?
Yes, I was actually going to recommend that we put it on the clerk's site and get it out there. But I just wanted to let the board know that the Secretary of State usually recommends about 3 weeks to get the ballots out, and we're looking at almost 4.5 if we do, based off of our timeline, getting them out on Thursday, possibly this Friday at the latest. That gives basically a week for it to come back to us, a week for it to get to them, a week for it to sit at their house, and then some days for it to sit at their house. So we're more than giving them enough time to get those ballots to them and get them back. So I think we're in a good place.
Okay.
Is Tricia on?
Tricia is not on this call, but she will be on the 9:30 call.
Okay, if you just remind her, Reg, or make sure we put it in the action plan that we want to really promote the Track Your Ballot. I'm sorry, Steve, I wasn't aware of that. So that's very helpful. And I bet a lot of people are not aware of that. That's a great tool.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like right now the website's redirecting to find your polling location, but I know it exists. Also, there's a couple of news reports. Boston 25, WCVB, all both have reports on how to use this service.
While on that point, and we'll have to promote this as well, Reggie. I'm sorry, through you, Steve.
Yeah, of course.
If I recall, it's page 30 of the town meeting book. It's in my car, so I don't have it. I believe there is a mistake on the voting locations on that list that we advertised or promoted. Reg, if you could take a look at that as well and confirm with Sam on it. Because if there is a mistake, we want to promote the real information.
I will.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for answering 2 of my 3 questions. And I just want to congratulate you and thank you for having an all hands on deck approach to making sure this process is seamless as much as possible. And no one's taking vacations during this time. So it's literally all hands on deck. Is that correct?
Well, thank you for that, Deborah. I got to tell you, we have an extraordinary team outside of this committee that's been developing and implementing the action plan. At certain times, we have Deanna involved, Tracy involved. Coming up on election day, they're all going to be involved. So the A team has been involved in every step of this, and not one person complained. It's been a real joy to work with these folks.
Great. And then the last question I have, you talked a little bit about advertising for this special election. Are you going to use the electronic boards that are, one is at DBW and another one is sometimes put at the center of town, and you have a third one that you kind of move around? Are you going to use those to also market? Let people know that it's coming up.
Yeah, we actually, I did call DPW last time, and we did put it in the center of town, so we definitely will do that. I think there was thoughts about, and I don't know if we can use that billboard, but there was the 24 billboard that we have access to. I don't know if it's appropriate to post the town election on that, but that's something I can discuss with Tom. But we also have access to that. So we will be using those billboards and putting them at different sections of town. I think we have 2. I'm not sure that we have 3.
That's great. We're on here.
Could I make?
I don't see any problem with that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Could I make a suggestion that Reggie also share the plan with the superintendent of schools and the chair of the building committee?
They already
I-
that message.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that they were, and I'm glad that they are. Thank you.
And they've added some pretty good input to the plan, Lewis. I think we should be very pleased with the level of collaboration that's gone on. They've added some nice nuggets.
So just before we move on, I did give the correct address for that Track My Ballot. It's actually www.trackmyballotma.com, and that will redirect you to the Secretary of State's site for that. I've included that in the message board inside this meeting, so anybody who needs to copy that, feel free. I think we may have gained and then lost Joe McCrisky again. Could be mistaken. Oh, looks like he's on. Are you here? One second. He's having difficulty getting in. Apologies. I just want to make sure we have as many members as possible, that we have a quorum. Joe McCrisky's having difficulty getting back into the meeting. While we're waiting on him, if he's able to get in, Ms. Roberts, do you have any further questions?
No, thank you. You answered my three.
Excellent. Mr. Gito, do you have any further comments or questions?
No.
Okay, we'll give him just one moment to hop on. There's I asked town council to draft some motions for us so that we can just move through this quickly. In this case, it would be probably appropriate for somebody else to call the motion. I'm not sure you have it in your email, though. I'll read the motion.
I have it in front of me if you'd like.
Oh, Mr. Gito, that'd be wonderful. If you don't mind making that first motion.
I move that the board, in accordance with general law, chapters 54 and 59, set June 11th, 2024 as the date for the election on Prop 2.5 ballot question concerning the school building project, and authorize and instruct the chair and town manager to provide notice of same to the town clerk's office forthwith. Second.
Okay, the motion was made by Mr. Gito, seconded by Deborah Roberts. I'm going to go around and just see what your votes are. Mr. Gito?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. McCrisky, are you able to hear us? He fell off again, and I vote yes. So a majority of the members who are present voted yes to that first motion. We have a second motion. This one is our second item on the agenda.
I can read that if you'd like.
I'm just going to read the agenda item itself very quickly.
Okay.
So the second item is to consider rescinding the vote of February 6th, 2024, which states, quote, discontinue use of AccuVote voting machines effective on April 30th, 2024, and to begin using election systems and software, aka ES&S, DS200 voting machines effective as of August 28th, 2024. So that is the item. In this case, we, as so people are aware of what this is, we are changing our voting machines as something that the town meeting voted last year. And we originally voted to discontinue the use of our old machines and then start the use of the new machines in August. With the selection coming up in June, we need to bring our older machines back online and remove this this vote, so the Secretary of State's office allows us to continue to use the machines for this election. Mr. McCrisky, I see you here. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, I can. I apologize. I'm on my phone. For some reason, I went off the grid on the internet.
Not a problem. We voted on the first motion, and that was to set the special election date to June 11th. Though three of us voted yes, I would love to be able to record your vote as well on that.
Yes, I vote in favor, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. Okay, so then we have this second motion for the discontinuance to rescind the discontinuance of our AccuVote voting machines.
Do you want me to read that?
Sure, Mr. Gio. That'd be great.
I move that the board rescind its vote of February 6th, 2024, which states that at the select board meeting held February 6th, 2024, the select board, upon motion by Steve Cavey, voted 4-0 to approve the below. I move that the select board vote in accordance with general law, chapter 64, section 34 and 950 CMR 50 to discontinue use of the AccuVote voting machines effective on April 30th, 2024, and to begin using election systems and software, aka ES&S DS200 voting machines effective as of August 28th, 2024.
Thank you very much. So that is what the below says. And then I think there's a little bit more to that motion.
Approve minutes of you.
No, this is back to the original sheet. It would be and to authorize.
Oh. I don't see anything in authorize.
So the motion you've read so far is I move that the board rescind its vote of February 6th, which states, and then there's quotes, unquote. Then it continues.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't. And to authorize and instruct the town man, I'm sorry, and town clerk's office to provide notice to any and all appropriate agencies and or individuals forthwith. I'm very sorry about that.
Not a problem. Thank you for reading that motion. So the motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. So the motion was made by Lugito. I saw, sorry, Mr. Roberts, I saw Joe McCrisky second that before you, I think. And so I don't think there's, does anybody have any questions on this?
Yes.
For it? Ms. Roberts.
Yes. So we made a decision to discontinue, and this motion is to rescind that decision.
Yes.
That we're going back to the original boxes. So I heard a date in there, August, to use the new. Did I mishear that? Because there was some static going on my line.
Sure. Yeah. So just to clarify, when we voted on February 6th, we voted to discontinue the use of the old machines on April 30th, but then to wait until August, I think 28th August 28th to start using the new machines. That the space of time between April 30th and August 28th, we have no voting machines. We're not using anything. This election that we're calling, that we've just called for, takes place during that donut hole, and so we need to be able to use some sort of voting machine for June 11th. So we were rescinding that original vote, and so if it's in its entirety, it becomes null and void. So we'd have to at some point in the future revisit that. I'm guessing we would probably vote to. This is for another day, but we would vote to discontinue the use of one and begin the use of the other on the same date, right? Because you don't want to end up with this sort of gap that we currently have.
Great. So that solves that problem. I just wanted to make sure I was clear that when we start using the new machines, that it's appropriately tested. We give sufficient time for them to test for accuracy. So that's the point I was trying to hear and make sure that it came across that way. So I'm also.
I totally agree. Ms. Roberts, do you have any other questions or concerns?
I do not.
Thank you, Mr. Gito. Any questions?
None.
Comments? None. Mr. McCrisky, any questions or comments?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. Then I'll call for the vote on the motion to rescind original February 6th vote. Mr. Gito?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
And Mr. McCrisky?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. That is our business for today. I don't know if the town, I know we're meeting up later tonight, but Mr. Coulter, do you have anything else for us?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm all set. I'll have that document to you by noontime.
Excellent. In that case, motion to adjourn.
So
So
made.
made.
Okay,
Second.
made by Mr. McCrisky, seconded by Deborah Roberts. Mr. Gito,
Yes.
Mr. McCrisky,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. I will see you guys soon. So we're adjourning. It's 9:32. Be well.
Well,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
everybody.
Good day. Good day.